Hey everyone, this is Kathy Yee from Incluvie. We're the IMDb for diversity in film, so you can give your own Incluvie score for a movie and give your own opinion as well. Today I have with me Kayden Phoenix from the Chicana Directors Initiative.
Hello.
Um, Hi Kayden.
Hello. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, definitely. How are you today?
I'm very, very good. Thank you.
Nice. So yeah, I was really excited to meet you. Me and the marketing team, we found you guys on Instagram, and we love your Instagram posts. Um, yeah, and how everything is very diverse. There's a range from history to inspiration to what's happening now in the film industry.
Yes, absolutely. Yes,
Nice. So do you manage the Instagram account or
I
do you have a
do.
team? Okay.
No, I mean, sometimes we do like a weekly where if some like a CDI member wants to take care of it, they can take over it. But majority of the time, vast majority, I just post. I find, like you were saying, I find repost in regards to events, whether it's industry like network or just within the members, like if they get on Variety or Deadline or something, just really cool shout outs for them because we're all in different levels. And then of course political because sometimes I get really mad and I just repost political stuff at the same time. But very very Latina skewed for the most part, very Latina skewed, just because we don't get our news out.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. In the United States, yeah, there is kind of a lack of representation for certain groups, including Latinos and Latinas.
Absolutely. Sadly, unfortunately, we're the number one ethnic diversity in regards to the highest. We're the highest percentage within the U.S.
I see. Okay, and that's not reflected in film. Like, yeah, what is your opinion on that? Like, what is your perspective on that?
I think it's quite unfortunate. I have a thing that says like we're invisible, and then I was talking to another Latina, and she's just like, "No, we're eradicated. Like they literally just miss us, like as if we're eradicated." I like to think we're invisible, and like hopefully have some visibility. Here's an Instagram, like and it worked. Like you saw us, which is great, and here's a website that has Latina directors, Latina DPs, and it's just their IMDb, their picture, and their website if they have a website, So it's just like at least we exist because that's where I'm still in the we're invisible part. So at least we exist here. Check them out. Maybe interview them. Maybe XYZ. Take it from there. Obviously, we do other things as well, but that's the whole like we have a presence much bigger than just you and I, and just within our community, our macro. And so on the macro level, we want to be seen. Obviously, we want to be working and like get the word out and like we're doing this or you're doing this, and so that's it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And especially, are you based in Los Angeles? Where are you based out of?
I am, yes.
Okay, especially in LA. I used to live there for a couple of years. I went to USC for engineering, not for film.
Cool.
Uh, but yeah, thank you. But there's so many Latinos and Latinas in Los Angeles where the movie industry takes place. So it seems maybe a bit more frustrating or potentially, I don't know if it's like frustrating or ironic that there's not many Latinas in films since that's where the movies take place.
I agree. It's very, very frustrating. Like I started CDI because of the numbers, right? Like Annenberg's, the USC Annenberg came out with the thing, I believe 2 years ago, at the top 1,200 films, there was only one Latina director that got hired. And that's like, you need 1,200 films for one of us to be seen. And
Yeah.
like nobody can name the film, nobody can name the director either, which is very unfortunate. But it was Patricia Regan for Sony. But like
Yeah, that's like
nobody knows that.
0.1%. Yeah.
Yeah. And like there's more than one Latina director. There's a million more outside of CDI at the same time. Like there's tons. And so
Mhm.
it's just that like I was saying, we're invisible, we do not exist. And that's the very unfortunate racist and oppressive patriarchal oppressiveness of it all. And that's why I started. That's why it's a nonprofit. That's why it's free membership. That's why it's so many extra things beyond me as well.
Yeah, and I love that. Like, because there are so few roles and positions for certain groups like Latinas in the film industry. I think some people may have the attitude that it's very competitive and to try to get ahead of each other.
Yeah.
But I see from what you're doing the opposite, like trying to bring people together to unite people and yeah, like really give strength to the underserved groups.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't see, my sisters or my brothers as competition. It's definitely not that. Like, it's not, oh, here's a little morsel, you guys fight. It's literally like, no,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go do my own thing. Like, where's our Latina or Latino animation company? Where's our Latina studio? Right?
Yeah.
And it's bigger. Like, if they're not gonna let us in, we make our own table. Like, that's kind of
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, like, what is your background? How did you get into this? How did you become so passionate about diversity, inclusion, representation?
I think I just kind of fell into it, honestly. I'm from East LA. I'm born and raised. I'm third generation Chicana. I went to Loyola Marymount. I'm very LA, so I went to Loyola Marymount University over on the Bluff, over in Mar Vista, like Marina Del Rey. And then I did marketing, so I was business. I came from business, and then business. I mean, it's fine. Marketing is fine, but it wasn't creative, and so I started doing creative outlets like writing, and then no one was seeing my work, of course, because I was just writing away. And so I was like, let me direct. And so from directing, I did like little short films. And same thing, that was my film school because I didn't go to film school. I produced out of necessity because same thing, it was my own money, and so it was on a negative budget, as I call it. But that's how I learned the world. And then going through that and doing the film festivals and all that stuff, like that's when I started seeing the industry for what it was and is. Like, I'm fairly new in it, honestly. So like I was saying prior, like the way I was raised, I'm very equal. Like, I'm from a Chicana household, but like I did the dishes one week, my brother did the dishes the next week, and like that's it. If we had 3 chores, I had 3 chores, like inside and outside the house kind of deal. Because that's the way my mom treated us. So like when I go in the entertainment industry and like everyone's like, no, you're a girl, no, you're Latina, no, you're lesbian, no, you're something. You're just like, what? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, what does that matter? Like, it's whether or not I can shoot, get this angle. It's whether or not I can perform the script. It's whether or not I can do the job. That was always what I was thinking of, because that's the way I learned it. And so that is why I created CDI, and that is why I'm so, I guess, an activist, if you will, because I don't know anything different. Like, now I'm like, oh, I'm oppressed. I never knew this. And so that is kind of, it's weird because I was so sheltered. I didn't know it growing up, which is nice. But now I can be like, now I'm a fighter for it because I don't know anything else. Like, how are you saying no? It should be based on my work, based on everyone's.
Right. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about CDI, the Chicana Directors Initiative, and what
Absolutely.
that's all about?
It started 2 years ago. We are a nonprofit. It's for Latina directors and Latina DPs in LA. And I use the word Chicana because it is stronger because it came out of the 70s civil rights movement, but it is open to all Latinas as long as you're as long as you're culturally identified, like as long as you're connected to your roots. That's what I say. But a lot of it is community, like women supporting women, Latinos supporting Latinas, right? Like, it's Latina directors, Latina DPs. We have free G&E. So every month we have a really great camera vendor as well, but we have a G&E vendor. So we get free G&E every month. And so if you have a Latina director, Latina DP, that's my only role, you get free G&E. So like if you need 3,000 stuff worth of like lights and gear and whatnot, you get it. Because I'm just doing community and like take away an extra no. We get free memberships to the other organizations. So Alliance Women Directors, Women in Film, Women in Media, Cinefem, Film Fatales, they all give us free annual membership every year. Because it's just taking away a no. They've always helped me, all those organizations. When I first joined, I just showed up and like, they're just invigorating and they help you and they support you in a different kind of way. And so when I was going to say AWD or Women in Film or whatnot, I was the only Latino there, and it's a sense of otherness. Like, they're all super nice and friendly, etc. But like, you're different than all the other old white ladies, and it's very easy to see that, unfortunately. Yeah. So that is why I started it 2 years ago. Was because I wanted to get other Latinas in the membership. So I took away the no, which is like, okay, maybe you can't afford the $150 a year. Great, you can get sponsored. And so they all said yes, which is really nice. They all knew that they needed Latinas. And so they all said yes.
Yeah, that's great.
And then same thing, that's how I started. And then the Annenberg came out and then was like, okay, nonprofit. And then now we're doing a lot more, obviously not now because of quarantine, but we were doing like monthly meetings, monthly potlucks, monthly like produced meetings and just table reads. So it's growing. Like, if someone's like, let's do this. Sure, let's do this. Like, why not? I say not now. But like, when we were, living in the world, we were doing quite well.
Okay. Yeah, before the pandemic, before COVID happened. But yeah, no, that's great. You provided that conduit because, yeah, there's definitely a whole women's movement. But a lot of people still perceive that as white women's movement. Yeah, and with Black, Latina, Asian women, it's kind of like they're put into a different group, people of color. But it's like, hey, we're women too. Yeah, so to kind of tie the CDI in with those women's group, and add that Latina element is really important. It like helps pave the way, like make it easier for.
Yeah, and it's just you can do it. I mean, you have the community and you have the support. Like they've always been supportive of me, and this is just me talking in general, but everyone has always been supportive of me. And the same thing, they're supportive of them too. They just don't see them. Like, maybe you can afford the 150 or whatnot. Like, here's the reason, go show up. You have nothing to lose, and like, that's the thing. Because I always think I have nothing to lose because I got nothing, and like, that's why I can do a nonprofit, and that's why I can do X, Y, Z, because I have nothing to lose. I literally I can learn, and that's it. Yeah. And so I kind of want that mentality for them too. Like, why not shoot for the moon? Like, you don't lose. You can only gain, right? And so
I wanted to ask too, I saw you have a comic book series, La Brava, right?
Yeah, La Brava. Yeah, that's the name of it.
Okay.
So La Brava is the team. So there's 5 Latino superheroes, and they all live in the same universe. So La Brava is, say, like Avengers or X-Men or Justice League. Right now, I'm on the 2nd chapter. So each superhero has their own chapter, has their own graphic novel. So Santa is the one that we're at the tail end of the crowdfunding. We already got greenlit, which is really nice. So she fights against ICE. Jalisco, which is the first one. She does Folklorico. She fights against the femicide, which is in Mexico. Same thing. They're all female, and they're all very social issue, just because we don't get our justice.
Okay. And then, so these superheroes, are the bad guys kind of personified, these social issues, are they personified as bad guys?
Yeah, so ICE is definitely Irene Calderon Estevez. So her, I absolutely personified. I was like, that's ICE. She wants a race war in her town. It's a border town in Texas. I call it Wexo. And so it's a made-up border town, which is kind of like El Paso, and like you have the Zicas, which are, I say the normal people, but the Zicas, so the civilians, and you have the Luchas. So all the luchadores, like with the mask, they're the conservatives. And so because ICE, which is Irene, she runs on the conservative side, and like and we have the domino front. Everyone has a double name because it's kind of a made-up town. But we have the Democratic front runner, and that's La Politica. And so, like, there's a big race war because the racial tensions rise because the conservative runner is just like Wexo for luchas, like all the stuff that we hear right now in media. I just paralleled it, so it's not as political, but it is political, and you get it. You're like, oh, that's what they're saying. Oh, like heritage, like that's what the very white conservatives use, like protect our heritage. And I was like, no, you literally killed everybody. What are you talking about? Like I don't say that there, but it's that kind of like, you get it. If you get it, cool. If not, it's a really good story anyway. Santa finds her patriotism because of all the oppression and all the really crazy luchadores like stealing people, and putting them in the detention camps and the concentration camps. And so it's very relevant, unfortunately. I wish it was not relevant, honestly, but it is very relevant to the time, especially now.
It's nice that you have that social political message in there. And it's also nice that, they're female characters, who are in charge and awesome. And saving the world. That's really cool for young girls and women, like just adults, to see as well.
Thank you. Yeah, all my villains are female, and the superheroes as well are definitely female. All the supporting characters, all the mentors, they're female. Because why not? Like, why don't we have female? Like, you can be good, you can be bad. Like, I don't see a difference in that regard. Like, here's representation, right?
How can people get into the superhero, or can they purchase it? What is that like?
If you want to just go to latinasuperheroes.com, and then when you go to the shop, you can get the book there as well. Santa comes out in October. I'm trying to get it. Yeah, in October. So I just have to send it to print, and then just waiting for it to come in.
Okay, nice. And so you did the story. Did you do the drawings too, or did you work with a team?
Definitely a team. I cannot draw. I have no artistic talent in any way. But I can write, and I can hire people. I can produce, so I can hire people. So I hired all Latina artists. They're all Chicana and Mexicana, because they're amazing. You look at their work, and like they make me look good, but like they're just good people. They're good people, but they have so much talent, all of them.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's very uplifting to hear.
It's really so nice. Like the welcoming, like on Instagram, because I have Jalisco has her own, and then Latino Superheroes has the rest of them, the other 4. And so like you see their post, and you see, people posting like with their daughter, and they're like, the first word she says was, she looks like me, and it's just really just like really amazing and just very humbling. But it's a really nice, like, it's bigger than me. It is huge, much bigger than me. Like, one girl was even Jalisco for Halloween, like, and I don't know the girl, but now she's my favorite girl in the world, right? But like, it's just
Oh,
that, like, it's just the mom made it for her because she read the book late last year. So it's stuff like that. Like, I'm very appreciative because it's the same thing. It is much bigger than just me being like, I want a superhero. It's just like, no, little girls and boys, like little girls need superheroes.
nice. So yeah, want to wrap up in a bit, but I want to get your thoughts. For those who care about diversity and want to support, like, how would you recommend that they get involved, or yeah, help with more representation in the film industry?
Use your voice. That's always the number one, is use your voice. You have the power. You have the power to change, whether it's just you're talking to your mom, you're talking to your friend, or you're talking to X amount of people on Instagram or any social media outlet. Like, you have the power to change, whether or not you're aware that whoever's reading your text or your post or whatnot, you literally have that power to inspire people. Like I told you, like with CDI or with my superheroes, like at the beginning, yeah, absolutely, it was for me because I want to see superheroes on screen. That is why I wrote them out, because I'm a writer and I was like, I want to direct it and put it on like a movie and make a movie, but obviously it's much bigger because I'm growing, along with it and seeing everyone else's experience. So just know, use your voice. You never know who you can influence. You never know who needs to hear those words. That's number one. Also, use your voice, use your power. So if you are in industry, like if you're a director or writer, why don't you hire an all Latina crew or all whatever? I have an all veteran crew because I'm doing a veteran story. Like, why not? It's in front and behind the camera. If you're gonna, talk the talk, walk the walk. That's always it, because I hear people complain about this and then they don't even hire themselves. And it's just like,
Yeah.
you're part of the problem. You don't know, but you're literally part of the problem. You're progressing it. You're keeping it going. And so
Right.
it's stuff like that. I'm saying, I watch myself when I say stuff like that too, but like, yeah, absolutely. Why wouldn't I? Like, because if I can say I have an all Latina crew, there's no reason why you can't get an all Latina crew or all Native or all Asian, all whatever. And it's that, like, you have that power, utilize it.
Right. Nice. Yeah, so thank you so much, Kayden, for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks for having me.